I would like to talk about the press coverage, or rather lack thereof, of the fire at Shuri Castle. I mentioned it before in a previous video, but I'm really disappointed in the amount of press coverage, particularly in Western media, regarding Shuri Castle. Not only in the amount of coverage, but in the quality of the coverage. Compared to other disasters like Notre Dame, for example, uh, Shuri Castle hasn't even gotten a fraction of the amount of coverage that Notre Dame got. Even though the fire at Shuri Castle was actually quite a bit worse, the destruction at Shuri Castle was quite a bit worse than the destruction at Notre Dame, because at least Notre Dame is still standing. Yeah, I know the roof collapsed, the steeple collapsed, but the building itself is still standing, whereas Shuri Castle, the main building is completely gone. And yet the West just doesn't care at all. And the Western media, when they have reported on it, a lot of times they've done a really bad job. Like in this Associated Press article written by a Japanese journalist, not an Okinawan journalist, but a Japanese journalist. She refers to Shuri Castle as a Japanese castle. It is not a Japanese castle. It's an Okinawan castle. It's a uniquely Okinawan castle. If you look at the building, for example, in design, it's totally different than the design of Japanese castles. Okay, historically, it was built sometime around the 14th century by Okinawans, not by Japanese. So for this Japanese journalist to call it a Japanese castle in the Associated Press, one of the largest press organizations in the world, that it's an outrage. It's an outright outrage. How dare the Japanese try to claim Okinawa's most precious building? I mean, this is definitely not the first time that this has happened. Japanese have long been appropriating and trying to claim Okinawan things for themselves. Take the flag of Japan, for example, the rising sun flag. They actually stole that from Okinawa. That's actually an Okinawan design. If you look at the ancient paintings from Okinawa's history, you see that flag. You see Okinawan ships flying that flag. And then Japan came in and stole it. They're like, oh, that's a nice design, and we need a flag for ourselves. Let's steal it from Okinawa. And now they're trying to claim our castle, our most precious castle. The castle, Shuri Castle, was the home of the Ryukyu monarchy for hundreds of years. And they have the audacity to write in the Associated Press that it's a Japanese castle. Just Okinawans are just furious about this. They're furious. And the Associated Press, it's read worldwide by, especially in the West. So now a lot of Westerners are going to look in that and be like, oh, no, Shuri Castle is a Japanese castle. So they're going to think, oh, well, it's a Japanese castle. No, it's not a Japanese castle. It's an Okinawan castle. I got a comment from a person who I think is an American. He said something along the lines of, well, do you really expect Westerners to know the word Okinawan? To know the difference between Okinawan and Japanese? Well, yes. Yes, I do. And I think most Okinawans do, especially because America has a huge military presence in Okinawa against the will of the Okinawan people. So yes, I definitely expect Americans to know the word Okinawan. That's the least they could do. And historically, actually, a lot of Europeans, especially European traders, they were definitely aware of Okinawans, or Luchuans, as they were referred to back then. And in fact, Europeans had a very high regard for the people of Luchu. The people of Luchu, they were considered by Europeans to be advanced, highly advanced civilization, and good uprighteous people to do business with. So yeah, if historically Westerners could know the term Luchu, certainly Westerners today can know the term Okinawa. That's not too much to ask for at all. And that's certainly no excuse for a Japanese journalist, or any journalist, to refer to Shuri Castle as a Japanese castle. It's just factually incorrect. It's incorrect. You know, the Associated Press, they're supposed to be a trustworthy press organization, but in this instance, they really dropped the ball. And this is how fake news gets spread. False information gets spread is when journalists spread it. They spread false information. If the media spreads false information, how is anyone supposed to know? How are Westerners supposed to know the truth? If they call things Japanese when they're not Japanese, how are they ever supposed to learn about Okinawa? You see? So it's a catch-22. I really think Western media needs to do a better job covering Okinawan issues. That the AP, Associated Press, should have an Okinawan journalist writing about Okinawan issues. Or at the very least, they should interview actual Okinawans. That way they get better information. That they're more likely to get the correct information if they interview real Okinawans rather than coming from a Japanese worldview, a Japanese mindset. So the Japanese journalists, they just think, oh, Japan, I know all about Japan because I'm Japanese, but they don't understand the history of Okinawa. They don't understand the Okinawan people, the culture, the language, the issues. They impose their own Japanese worldview onto Okinawa, and then they write about it in the media, and it goes worldwide. And that's how people around the world, they think that they don't learn the truth. Okay, so I really hope the Associated Press in the future does a much better job reporting, because they really dropped the ball this time. In some good news, though, the BBC has done a much better job than the Associated Press covering the fire at Shuri Castle. Their coverage has been 10 times better than the Associated Press. They've just done, in comparison, a much better job. So thank you to the BBC for your coverage. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please remember to give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more of our videos. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys next time.